This Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Why Is This Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff, and before we get started, I want to thank everybody who has called in, everybody who has messaged me, and had some conversation about previous shows. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the show, and I can't thank you enough for that. I also want to thank Bill for loaning me an audio interface. My old one kind of took a dump. It's dead. But we're back on track now. You know, better late than never. And I also wanted to let everybody know another reason that I'm doing this show is so that even passively I can connect with some people. Even if we've never met before, I feel a little bit of a connection to you just by hearing your call. And it means a lot to me. Thank you. Now, before I introduce my guest, I want to go ahead and preface this week's show with the question. It's debatable whether we really think we know somebody. People are less than forthcoming about some things in their lives, facets about them, things they've done, things they've thought or felt. So the question is, do you really know anyone? And on that note, I'd like to introduce my guest. You might know her from the first episode as Sherlock Holmes, all the way from the living room. My beautiful and talented wife, Jennifer, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Excellent. And in the spirit of answering this question,
Yes.
is there anything that you'd like to let our listeners know about you?
Well, I've been married to you for 10 years, together a little bit longer, known you since 7th grade. So, as much as they know you, then they know what I have to put up with.
Ah, well. and this may be arguable, but I doubt it. You probably know me better than anyone else on earth.
Well, if I don't, I want to meet the person who does so I can kick their ass.
No worries. All right. Would you like to get into a call?
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
I know. Who I know? I know Charles Barkley. What else do I know? Adam Sandler. I know a lot of people.
Well, I'm not sure that falls in line with the spirit of the question, but thank you for your call. I'm sure Charles Barkley and Adam Sandler appreciate you for that.
Well, I definitely on that, in the spirit of that call, I know Charles Barkley. He's lives in the town I work in and frequents my place of employment. So, I've met him. I've had a photo op with him. So it's like, hell yeah, I know Charles Barkley too. Who doesn't know Charles?
I was going to ask the same question. I've met him more than once, and he's a super guy.
Oh, he's great.
I don't know how well I know him, though. Let's go to another call, okay?
All right.
Hi, this is Kimbo Slice of the mystical town of Moody, Alabama, here to answer your question about do you ever really know anyone? I think that depends really on the role the person plays in your life. For example, I was friends with a guy since I was 14. We were close friends throughout the years. Then we started dating when I was 28. And then I found out who he really was, and now we don't talk anymore, and really unpleasant memories there. But like I said, depends on the role this person plays. For example, you may not always know your friends. For me, the person that I feel like I know the best is my husband. And I feel like sometimes I know him better than myself. So depending on closeness and how much time you spend together, intimacy, of course, and whether or not you allow yourself to be seen as vulnerable. I think I'll play a role, but for the most part, maybe not. I don't think you could ever really know anyone unless they're like your person, you know? And that's just my 2 cents. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Kimbo, for your call. You may have just created another question for me, and that question would be, when do you know too much about someone? I've had a couple of relationships go sour in my life because I feel like I got to know somebody too well. What do you?
Well, I've never run into that personally. Maybe in fact, it wasn't that you knew somebody too well, but that you knew things about them that changed your opinion of them, that you didn't like, that you didn't want to be around. Not so much as you knowing them too well, it's just that you knew the wrong things about them.
Well, that kind of sparks the original question again. Maybe it's better that you don't necessarily know someone all the way.
I would absolutely agree with that because I don't want anybody knowing certain things about me. Not anyone,
Well,
especially you.
oh, certainly. Certainly. I mean, there are plenty of things about me that you do not know, that you will never know. And I know there are things about you that I don't know that I'll never know. And, I'm kind of fine with it.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
So, but that's why we think about these things.
We do think about these things.
All right. Would you like to take one more call before the break?
Absolutely.
All right, coming right up.
So my best friend who died in June of 2021, he and I knew each other. We knew each other like we knew no one else. Sometimes it was like we were the same person. We shared so many parallels and experiences along the way. We were born in the same small town. Our grandparents and parents went to the same church. But even our deepest, darkest secrets, we shared some of the same, and most importantly, we shared them with each other. We always listened to each other, and there was always empathy and understanding. I can't say that for anyone else in the world, just that one person. Like we were cut from the same mold.
All right, thank you for your call. And first off, I'd like to say I'm sorry for your loss. We all know what it's like to lose a good friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, on that note, I feel like maybe your best friend is the one that knows you better than anyone else. Just because you don't have that take it or leave it relationship with a best friend.
Well, I will tell you this. I have a wonderful husband that we've been with for multiple years. You could call us a long-term, relationship, like people say. Instead, when people are just dating for 20 years and then never get married, they go, they're long-term girlfriend. Well, okay, I'm your long-term wife at this point.
In an age where people will say things like, you know what, 5 years is a long time to be married.
Yeah.
That means something to me too, sweetie.
But not only that, is that I also have a best friend, Danielle, and I believe that you two probably know me maybe equally as well, but you both know things about me that the other one doesn't. Like, there's a lot of things Danielle knows about me that you don't know about me.
Certainly.
And vice versa. So it's like maybe it's not a matter of how well you know someone, but of, what you choose to let them know.
Yeah, yeah. But that choice is still a filter.
Yes.
So maybe we haven't quite resolved anything yet. We've still got time for a few more calls.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to a break, and then when we come back, we'll hear some more.
All right.
All right, be right back. All right, we're back, and I'm still here with Jennifer.
I'm still here with Jeff.
That's right, and we're ready for another call. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Coming up.
Hi, I would like to remain anonymous, but okay, all right. If you want to call me something, my name is Dami. So, turning to the question, does anybody ever really know anybody? I think that's probably best answered in the stages of information that we share with each other. There's the first level of, hey, it's weird weather we're having, right? That kind of like cursory, small talk. You get to know somebody, maybe you start talking about your interests, shared interests. But in a relationship with somebody, you get into, sharing your, inner thoughts and emotions, and there's maybe eventually you get to know somebody better, if you consider a best friend or, significant other or whatever. But I don't think anybody ever really lets their guard down 100%. Maybe you get to 90%, 95%. But everybody, I think, keeps things that are to themselves, whether it's through shame or whatever. So I think the answer in a very roundabout ways, I think we can know people as much as we allow them to let them know us. There you go.
All right, thank you, Dami.
Yes.
Dami. All right. But he does make a good point. There are levels of friendship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I most of my friendships are on that second level of the shared interests, and I'm a musician. I'm in a band with a lot of people, and that's what we share. I'm not going to sit and gush to them about every little, bit of minutia in my life.
Now, that's what I do with Danielle. She knows every stupid little thing. Like, if I have a fart that smelled too bad, she knows about it. Well. And it's stupid, but then there's, some people I've actually known longer than her that know me significantly less.
Yeah.
So it does depend on the connection that you have with the person and how that develops over time.
Yeah. No, certainly. And, there are people I've known for upwards of 40 years that I call my friends. They are my friends that really don't know anything about me except for my superficial interests. I've only got a very few friends that know more about me than that. And it's not just because I like to keep things close to the vest. It's just because I don't really see the point.
He is hard to get to know, really. He is super fun, the best one-night friend you can have on a show night. Super fun. But you get anything deeper than a guitar riff, you know, a band, a show, yeah, that's about it. His interests are music. That's about, and Legos.
And Star Wars.
But not everybody knows about the Legos. But everybody knows about the Star Wars.
Well, Lego is an emerging interest.
It is. It's a fairly new one.
Decades I didn't think about Lego, and all of a sudden I love them.
Oh, yeah, because they came out with Star Wars Legos.
But you knew that already.
Yes, I did. I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. Ready to go to the next call?
Yes.
All right, coming up.
Hey, I got a question, Jackson. Come here. Come here. Do you think anyone really knows anyone else?
What?
Honey, come on.
Yeah.
You think you know anybody else truly all the way?
Yes, 24/7.
Who do you know, like, 100% of?
Tupac.
So Tupac's the winner. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So if you could know anybody better than Tupac, you're really doing something.
Exactly, because Tupac was so easy to get to know.
I know, right?
I mean, everybody knew Tupac.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, intimately.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know Tupac. That kid was still a kid. I mean, I was at least alive when Tupac died.
No, Tupac's still alive.
Oh, shit. Is he hanging out with Elvis and Kurt Cobain?
Probably. Probably hanging around with that antivirus guy on the secluded island. We've got one more call. Would you like to get into it?
Oh, if we must.
Do you think Tupac would approve?
Probably not.
Ah, well. You know what? For the purposes of that, he is dead.
He is dead.
So, okay, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Hey, this is Richard Normus. My friends call me Dickie. To answer this week's question, it feels like it could be either a personal question or a general question. Like, do I personally know someone? Really know someone? Potentially. It really all depends, because in order for me to say I would know someone, I would have to be able to predict their reaction to a given circumstance without actually them being in that circumstance. And this is more than just like, oh, hey, Alabama won the game, I know Jim's going to like that. I mean, on a more personal level, like, hey, I know this person likes this thing coming out. They're going to be excited when they find out that, you know, I got them tickets to this or something else or whatever. When you get to a point where you can understand another person and basically run a simulation of that person in your head and it be accurate, I would feel like you could know someone. Now, whether or not everyone has that person, it's kind of hard. You know, it's person by person basis. Some people don't have someone that they can interact with on that level. Some people do. I feel like we all have the capacity, though. It just depends on our environment and who we're around, really.
All right. Thank you, Dickie Normus.
Well, Dickie had a very valid point to where, you know, I believe that maybe you can really know someone, but you will never know everything about anyone.
Well, you know, something else he mentioned in the call that seemed to have gotten passed over by a couple of other calls is you're getting into mannerisms at this point. You're getting into feelings.
Right.
And you know, knowing someone is not just facts.
No, because if within any given scenario that could happen to you, if I knew about it first, I can almost 100% guarantee you how you're going to react to whatever it is that just happened. I mean, I know you that well. But, you know, my kids still throw me for a loop with the way that they respond to certain things. But they're more rapidly developing more complex feelings and emotions because they're of age, they're an adult, they're coming into adult circumstances, but it's like, we've been there for a minute.
Yeah, they're into a larger world now.
Right.
And that is certainly a way to expand. And that is also plays to the point that people have to know themselves.
You cannot know anyone more if you don't know yourself the best.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of like you can't be happy unless you're happy. You can't find, if you're not happy by yourself, you're not going to be happy with anybody else. You can't know anybody if you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're in your own head. You, no matter how fast you run, you can never get away from you.
You're correct.
So you might as well be friends with yourself.
That has always been kind of a mantra of mine, is the fact that I'm the only person that has to live with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Yes.
So I better like me.
Yes. Because I have been extremely annoyed at me, and it's no good.
No, certainly not.
No, because I can hold grudges, and it just comes into a whole fiasco when you're not talking to yourself, but you really need an answer.
Certainly. I actually feel like I learned something in this episode.
I did. I think what I learned was that ultimately, according across the board, you basically really don't know someone to the extent that it's everything.
Yeah. But on that note, maybe the best thing to know about somebody is the person they want to be.
Right. What do they strive to be? What are their goals?
Yeah.
My goal is to always have you bring me a cup of ranch with my pizza, and to quit making fun of me when I put mayo on the sandwich.
Oh, I don't make fun of it, I gag. Big difference. Big difference. You know what? This was a fun episode. I thought it was going to be a little harder than it was. But before we close everything out, I would like to ask you a question.
Yes.
So my question for you is, and before I ask, I'll go ahead and tell you I'll volunteer the same thing if you're into it.
Okay.
I would like to know something about you that I didn't.
All right. Well, that's kind of a tricky one because you know a lot about me.
Yeah, well.
But I think one thing that you probably don't know is that I saw my first ghost when I was 9. It was in my bedroom. It woke me up. It was cold, like, I don't know, I would have to estimate somewhere around 20 degrees, and it was, springtime, so we didn't have the air nor the heat on, and all of a sudden it was middle of winter in the bedroom. And I sat, and I was sharing a room with my sister. My sister was, we shared a bed even, and she was dead asleep, and I just shot straight up in the bed, and I was like, there was this entity at the end of the bed, and it scared me. I screamed, but nobody woke up. It's like nobody could hear me scream. And so I do what any 9-year-old person would do, is I laid back down and threw the covers over my head and just repeated the mantra, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, and snuggled up next to my sister until she pushed me away. And stayed there till the morning when there wasn't a ghost there anymore.
Well, I'm certainly glad it went away.
It did go away.
All right. And I heard that.
I'm sorry. Did I hit your guitar?
No, that was the spring in the
spring on the
mic
mic.
stand.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, I can return the favor.
I would absolutely love to know anything new about you.
Okay. Well, here's a good one. When I'm at home by myself, when you're at work and when Justin's at work and I have a good block of time by myself, every single time you are both gone, I spend a good hour crying.
What do you cry about?
I don't know. It's just cleansing.
That's a good thing, though, you know. It's a good thing to cleanse. That's what I meant. Not that you're crying and, you know, and not that you're crying without me because, you know, if you're hurting like that, I mean, I want to be your shoulder. I want to cuddle you and tell you everything's going to be okay. So, but I can't be there for you 100% of the time. And
well, you know, sometimes I need that time by myself.
Absolutely.
For that release, it, like I said, it's cathartic. I find myself actually hunting for things like TV or movies that I intentionally watch because I know it will make me cry, and then I cry and I feel better. So,
well, I'll let you listeners know because Jeff already knows this about me, but you don't. But I cry at everything. I cry at car commercials.
She cried at a Subaru commercial.
At everything. So it's like I don't have to hide to cry. I cry at work. I cry, you know, it just, I'm a crier.
Yeah, well.
But maybe it's because I need to release all those harbored emotions, and I can harbor like 30 minutes worth of emotions before I have to purge.
Well, you know, I think I'm going to save Why Do People Cry for another episode. This might be a pretty good show.
It might be a pretty good show.
And you know, we're going to keep that in mind. But I do have a different question for next week.
What is the question for next week?
This one's a little more silly. Okay. Unless you've been, I don't know, living under a rock or, you know, on the moon, or have just had no internet for the past couple of months, you've undoubtedly heard about the return of the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. Okay. Yeah.
They've already run out of ingredients.
I know, right?
And it's on a temporary hold.
It's already gone. But, you know, I'm not going to stop there. You know, there are people that well, the McRib is back. You know, so McDonald's has got the McRib. And then, you know, it's like Burger King has the A1 burger and the Italian chicken sandwiches. There is a chicken sandwich war going on between 4 or 5 different restaurants.
But the Szechuan sauce.
Well, I mean, it's what's better, Chick-fil-A or Popeyes or Zaxby's? It's like, my take on this is that they're all trash. Okay, now I eat some of that trash and I like some of it, but it's fast food. So my question is, why do people spaz out over fast food? Why do they do it? And I would like your call. And I don't care how you deliver it. I don't care if you tell me a story about it. I don't care if you rant about it. I don't care if you're mad at me. Call me and let me know. My number is 205-530-0354. Leave a voicemail and let's see what happens. That should be a fun one, huh?
It should be a fun one because, you know, Szechuan sauce.
Oh, yeah. You know, the McRib's back. Yeah. The Mexican pizza that tastes exactly like everything else on Taco Bell's menu. You know,
yes.
but it's back, you know. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at YisPod. On Instagram and Facebook, you can look for Why Is This Podcast. If you would prefer to drop a soundbite via email or maybe give me a suggestion, you can find me at whyisThisPod@gmail.com. You can find the podcast on many different podcatchers. If you can rate, go ahead and give me a rating. Leave me a review. I'd like to know how I'm doing. Jennifer, I loved having you on the show tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. It was quite an honor. I doubt I'll be on very much further because you like to keep variety.
Well, this is for the most part a solo flight, but I expect you to return in the near future, if you are so inclined.
As long as the paychecks keep rolling in.
That's right. Gotta keep that cheese rolling. One more time, my voicemail hotline is 205-530-0354. Give me a call. Let me know anything about it. Honestly, just tell me anything. I'll listen. Just tell me anything.
I like Szechuan sauce.
That's right. Tell me your thought on people's mania over fast food. And on that note,
have a good evening, folks. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Thank you very much. And just remember, always ask why.